And the Golden Globe goes to
Mr. Robot. Executive producer Sam Esmail.
سام إسماعيل هو أول مؤلف ومنتج تلفزيوني عربي يفوز بجائزة الجولدن جلوب عن مسلسل هوليوودي وهو السيد روبوت، الذي يقوم ببطولته المصري الأمريكي رامي مالك، حيث يؤدي دور إليوت، وهو مبرمج حواسيب يعاني من اضطراب اجتماعي يتم تجنيده على يد متمرد لاصولتوي غامض يدعى السيد روبوت لاختراق حواسيب شركة عالمية عملاقة إي كورب ليقوم بمحو ديون زبائنها من الناس العاديين. ولاحقا يتبين أن إليوت يعاني من انفصام الشخصية، وأن السيد روبوت هو ذاته الثانية التي تعكس شخصية والده الراحل، وكانت إي كورب وراء موته. عندما بث الجزء الأول من السيد روبوت عام 2014 افترض المعلقون أن إسماعيل استلهمه من الاختراق الإلكتروني الذي شل شركة سوني بيكتشرز في أواخر عام 2013. لكن في حديث معه آنذاك أكد لي أن الربيع العربي كان مصدر إلهامه، وأن إليوت كان يمثل الشباب العربي الغاضب الذي ثار ضد حكامه.
I'm Egyptian, and I have tons of cousins who live in Egypt, and I had gone there right after the Arab Spring. My cousins were 19, 20. They were young people, and they were part of that revolution, and they were angry, and they channeled that into something really positive, using technology, using social media, something that the old guard couldn't understand or block, and so that was something that really moved me. And it actually enlivened that revolutionary spirit that I think is everyone. And it was something that really clicked for me when I thought about the character of Elliot.
ولم ينسى إسماعيل أقاربه عندما استلم جائزة الجولدن جلوب وكال لهم الثناء والشكر.
My family here and my family in Egypt, and to them I just want to say shukran. So thank you guys.
The success of the show and you're winning the Golden Globe and later the nomination, the Emmys, has excited a lot of Egyptians, and I'm
That's
sure you should have seen the
hear.
responses.
Oh, that's...
What kind of reactions you received directly?
I got a lot of cousins and aunts and uncles over there, and I speak to them, and obviously they're very proud, and it's very moving. I mean, one thing that I do know that at the Golden Globes, when I spoke to them and thanked them directly, that was just something that they had never seen before. They had never done, and I think that was very moving for them, and I'm honestly just humbled and flattered to even be a part of any of representing them in any way on a stage like this.
Were you surprised by this incredible reaction, including to Rami as well?
I was obviously very surprised. I mean, to me, I just thought that, again, we were making this small little show. I had no idea it could touch people, much less my family over in a country thousands of miles away. They feel inspired, and I've had a couple of my cousins say they're interested in filmmaking now and telling their story, and that honestly just pleases me more than anything. That's great.
واستمر إسماعيل في استلهام الجزئين اللاحقين من السيد روبوت من الربيع العربي الذي تحول إلى خريف مرعب على أرض الواقع. وبدلا من تحرير الناس من تسلط الشركات الضخمة، تثير ثورة إليوت الخوف في قلوبهم وتسفر عن تشديد السلطات للإجراءات الأمنية وتعزز من نفوذ إي كورب التي تتمكن من استعادة بياناتها من النسخ الاحتياطية. وفي الجزء الثالث من السيد روبوت الذي يبث هذه الأيام، يقرر إليوت تطهير إي كورب من الداخل من خلال كشف فسادهم للFBI، لكن سرعان ما يدرك أن زملائه الثوريين تحولوا إلى إرهابيين يخططون لتفجير مقرات إي كورب، فيحاول التصدي لهم وحده.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about revolution. It gets complicated, and it gets very gray very quickly. And in fact, one of the things that inspired the show, as I told you 3 years ago, was the Arab Spring, and now we're seeing sort of the fallout of that. That it's really not about the event itself, it's what happens after.
Interesting, you mentioned the Arab Spring, given that it's true that's what happened. They turned to terrorism, but they were pushed into it.
Right.
Many of those groups.
And they've shifted, they've changed, the first leader has gone and left, and now they have a new leader, and you know, are they better off than they were before? That's a very difficult question to answer. It's not an easy yes or no. Did the revolution deliver in finding change, and finding change for the better in that society? That's not an easy question to answer, and that's not an easy yes or no. And those are sort of the same parallels that we found with the story that we're telling about Elliot and his revolution.
I need to stop this.
Today's work, what White Rose is doing, is going to change everything for the better.
You met White Rose? What is happening?
She's going to save the world, but we need to let her.
Save the world? Angela, whatever White Rose told you is a lie. She's a terrorist.
When he says now that what those guys are doing, the Dark Army and his former allies, is terrorism and is killing people, what he did harmed a lot of people.
And that's what he's trying to reckon with. Elliot is owning what he did, even though those weren't his intentions. The damage is real, and he has to kind of move through it. And so he's sort of trying to reverse what he did, and he's trying to undo what he did, as he says in the second episode. But I think he's starting to realize when you've broken something, can you actually put it back together? And maybe the answer to that is no.
I can stop this.
No. إليوت يعيش صراعا داخليا مستمرا، إذ أن أشد خصومه الذي يحبط محاولاته في التصدي للإرهابيين ويساعدهم في تنفيذ عملياتهم هو ذاته الثانية التي يجسدها السيد روبوت.
I think what he's finding, which is something that I think especially nowadays, especially sort of the current climate, is that good and bad is not so clear and cut. And whether you could go try and use the system, but look at the system. What if the system's rigged in the first place? And again, that's just something that I think relates to the current climate. Then where do you go? And then that loss of where if true justice can even really exist in this society, I think that's where we found Elliot in that first episode. That's where his pain came from.
You're lucky I covered the area and made sure all the leads on Well came directly to me.
هذه الازدواجية نلاحظها في شخصيات أخرى في المسلسل، مثل شخصية سانتياغو التي يلعبها الممثل المصري الأصل عمر متولي، وهو محقق FBI يزود الإرهابيين بالمعلومات التي تمكنهم من تنفيذ عملياتهم.
Many of your characters have different facets. They all possess the good and bad.
It feels more authentic and it feels more real to me. You know, that you can have good intentions and manifest in bad ways, or you can have bad intentions, but there's a glimmer of humanity inside everyone. And even though, like, you know, Omar Metwally's character Santiago, he's doing something atrocious. He's doing something really underhanded with the FBI, but there's a human element that Omar plays so brilliantly in that, where it makes it more interesting that he feels like a person. He's motivated by his family, and that to me is where we kind of try and continually on this show try and find the sort of gray area of every person.
نجاح السيد روبوت كان مفاجئا لاسماعيل، ومكنته من تبوء مكان بين أهم منتجي ومخرجي التلفزيون في هوليوود، وباتت استوديوهاتها ونجومها يتسابقون للتعاقد معه.
This is something I didn't even realize as I was creating the show, is that my sort of unique experience being an Egyptian, growing up in New Jersey, being that outsider, being a nerd, and being into technology, all of those sort of points of my growing up contributed to that unique point of view that we put in Mr. Robot. And I just didn't realize it. I think the attitude is, when you try and get into the industry, is that you want to make the mainstream thing. You want to make the popular thing. You don't want to be idiosyncratic. You want to be general. But I just learned that's not true. I think it's really gets special when you can actually lean into the unique thing about your experience and who you are.
Well, Sam, good luck.
Thank you. So nice to see you.
فضلا عن انشغاله في التحضير للجزء الرابع من السيد روبوت، يستعد اسماعيل هذه الأيام لتصوير مسلسل تلفزيوني جديد وهو هوم كومينج من بطولة النجمة الهوليوودية جوليا روبرتس، لكن حلمه هو أن يصنع فيلما عربيا يوما ما. حسام عاصي، BBC.